allies. That's the case we're making, together with Ukraine and our allies across Europe and across the Western world, and in fact across the free world. We also have the Japanese Foreign Minister that will be here this week as well.
We have some Ukrainian media here. Ukraina 24, if you're here. Мікрофон, будь ласка.
Україна 24. Пане міністр, скажіть, будь ласка, як ви вважаєте, той саміт G7, що має відбутися незабаром, питання про запровадження енергетичного ембарго, наскільки ці розмови можуть стати реальністю? Чи буде це запроваджено, це ембарго? І маю ще таке запитання. У п'ятницю до Британії, до Лондона має прибути Олаф Шольц і має бути розмова з Борисом Джонсоном з приводу збільшення тиску і санкцій на Росію. Як ви вважаєте, чи будуть ці перемовини результативними? Дякую.
Just a moment for translation.
So the first question is about the forthcoming G7 summit. How realistic do you think the energy embargo is going to be? And the second is about the visit of Olaf Scholz on Friday to the UK and about the discussion between Boris Johnson and Olaf Scholz. What is going to be? What are the expectations?
Yeah, I will respond in Ukrainian if you don't mind. Ми вже почали роботу ще на вихідних з країнами Сімки для того, щоб зустріч міністрів закордонних справ Сімки в четвер стала успішною з точки зору застосування всіх тих санкцій, які я озвучив, в тому числі нафтогазового ембарго.
So we started discussions with the G7 countries last weekend so that we could have a proper consultation on energy embargo well in advance of the event.
Я не можу зараз сказати, чи ці санкції будуть застосовані в четвер, тому що остаточне рішення залежить не від України. Ми, на жаль, ще не належимо до групи 7.
I cannot say for sure that this embargo will come into force straight away on Thursday, because unfortunately Ukraine is not one of the G7 countries.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Але я хочу повторити українською те, що я говорив англійською. Я знаю, що у деяких країн, які належать до групи 7, все ще є сумніви щодо доцільності застосування тих чи інших санкцій.
So I'm going to say again in Ukrainian what I just said a couple of minutes ago in English, that in some G7 member states there are still doubts about the use of these sanctions and embargo.
Тому я запрошую цих колег, у мене особисті з ними дуже добрі стосунки, але я запрошую їх відвідати до міністерської своєї зустрічі в четвер Бучу і розвіяти будь-які сумніви.
So I'm going to invite these colleagues before the summit to Bucha, so that any doubts could be eliminated.
Не в усіх, в кожній країні рішення не залежить лише від міністра закордонних справ, тому я пропоную цим колегам взяти також будь-кого з їхніх урядів, з тих, хто сумнівається, і також відвідати Бучу.
My invitation, as the decision by the country does not only depend on the foreign minister's decision, I invite my colleagues to take whoever they would like to invite for this visit with them, so that they can witness it with their own eyes.
Міністр Truss поінформувала мене про те, що планується візит пана канцлера Шольца до Великої Британії і про намір прем'єр-міністра Джонсона обговорити питання санкцій і постачання озброєнь до України під час цієї розмови. І я дякую за готовність британської сторони працювати з Німеччиною над цими питаннями.
Minister Truss informed me about the forthcoming visit of Olaf Scholz to the UK and about the forthcoming discussion between Prime Minister Johnson with Mr. Scholz about both the sanctions and about the supply of weapons, and I'm very grateful to the UK government for this.
Next one goes to Financial Times, James Schotter.
Thank you very much indeed. Two questions, if I may. To the Foreign Secretary, Poland's Prime Minister and I believe also President Zelensky described what's happened in Bucha and around there as genocide. Would you agree with that assessment? And if so, how would that change, or would it change in any way the British approach? And secondly, to Minister Kuleba, Viktor Orban this morning described President Zelensky as an opponent. What's your reaction to that? Thank you.
Well, we're all appalled by the scenes in Bucha, the butchery, the clear evidence of sexual crime, of the targeting of innocent civilians, and it's very clear that war crimes have taken place. And we have been working with the ICC, we're putting funding in, we've got the Metropolitan Police investigating those war crimes so the perpetrators can be brought to justice. Now, as to the question of genocide, that is a matter for the courts to determine, but what I want to be very clear about is the UK is taking the maximum approach. We're taking the maximum approach on sanctions. As far as we're concerned, nothing is off the table. We're taking the maximum approach on weapons in terms of what we can supply to Ukraine, and in fact that's one of the issues that Dmytro and I have been discussing with today. And the idea that we should wait for something else bad to happen is just completely wrong. The worst has already happened. We have already seen appalling atrocities committed in Ukraine with complete impunity. And that is why we want to go to the maximum level of sanctions with our allies and partners, and that is why we are pulling the stops out in terms of supplying Ukraine with the support they need to end this appalling war, which has to mean Putin losing in Ukraine.
In the last months, it became apparent to all European leaders that the only opponent that they have is President Putin. If Prime Minister Orban believes that President Zelensky is his opponent, while President Putin becomes one of the first, if not the first, foreign leader to congratulate Prime Minister Orban with victory, then it says more about Hungary than about Ukraine.
Thank you. At this, we have to conclude. We don't have any more time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.